Hey everybody, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join me today. In this video, we're going to look at how to create your own morphs. And we're going to do this using zBrush. If you don't have zBrush, you can basically do the same thing with other 3D editing software. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use zBrush because it's the one that I use. So what we've got here is Genesis 8 female loaded into our scene, and I've removed her eyelashes just for simplicity, and I have come down into the parameters tab, and under mesh resolution I have changed the resolution level to base. Now you don't have to do this, you can do it in high resolution, but the mesh that you send over to zBrush must be the base resolution, and you cannot increase or change the topology, i.e. you can't increase the resolution of the mesh in zBrush and send it back. It has to be the same polygons going one way as coming back, and you can't do that in high res unless you are a published artist with access to that specific plugin. There are workarounds that if you're really desperate to create HD characters with HD morphs, you can basically build your own character from scratch with a much higher mesh resolution than Genesis 8 currently has. But obviously that's quite a big job that you may not necessarily be experienced enough or just don't have the time to do that, because it is a very long drawn out process. So what we've got here then, got a character loaded in, and on the left hand side, assuming that you've installed the GoZ plugin correctly, you will see the ZBrush logo. So we're gonna hit that, and as you can see it will say export at current resolution. If you've got this set to high res, then you're going to need to uncheck that. Otherwise it's going to send across the high resolution mesh and then you can't send it back again. So make sure that you've got that set correctly. Export with deformations, yeah, you want to do that because you want the mesh to be what you're currently working with. If you've applied a load of deformers or other morphs, then you're going to need that sent across like that. So we're going to hit accept now, and ZBrush is going to load. So now we're in ZBrush. The first thing you want to do is close down the light box like this. You're going to select your Genesis 8 female tool, and you're going to drag one out using the mouse button into the screen like that, and immediately going to hit the edit button, and you want to frame up, and then you're going to click anywhere in the screen other than on the mesh, and you're just going to rotate, and then you can hold down the shift key to make it snap to the nearest kind of 90-degree angle, and then you can hit frame up again on the side here, and then we've got our model in a place where we can probably work on it. So I'm using a pen tablet for this, or rather I do use a pen tablet when I'm doing any kind of editing in ZBrush, because it just makes life a hell of a lot easier. If you don't have a pen tablet, don't worry, you're just going to have to be a lot more careful when doing it with your mouse. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the shape tool, and I'm going to make her boobs a bit bigger and give her a bit of a belly like this. There we go, simple as that. And yeah, okay, so I've inadvertently made a sort of pregnant character, never mind. So all we have to do now is, now that we've done what we want, we're going to hit GoZ like that, and it's going to jump straight back to Daz Studio, and it's going to say update geometry. Yeah, fine, create a morph. So we need to create a morph, and we're just going to say preg test like that. Group path ZBrush, you can change where that morph is going to appear. I'm not going to actually do that right now because we can mess around with that afterwards. And we're going to just simply hit accept, and then down in the ZBrush you can see our morph has now been created, and if we apply it, it gives us the morph, which is absolutely fantastic. So now in order to save our morph, what we need to do is, firstly we want to come into edit mode in our properties tab like that, and then you'll see a bunch of symbols appear beside your properties. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the little cog on the side there, and we're going to go into parameter settings. So what we've got here is the name of our morph that we've created, and we've got a label. So we could change the label. This is the one that the customer, I suppose, or you are going to see in actual Daz Studio. So we could just say pregnant test morph like that. And then in path, what we can do is we can change. So if it's a full body, we can go to, say, actor, or we could go to actor full body like that. And then that's where the morph will now appear in the tab, the properties tab. We can change the color that the morph is going to appear as. So we could say, like, I want this to be a nice sort of sicky brown. The other color to be a kind of let's say a sicky yellow like that. It's going to look horrendous, but there you go. You can set your minimum to 0 like that, and then you can just keep use limits like that. So now when we hit accept, what we're going to see is a significant change there, and it's actually now changed where the morph is. So we have to go to actor full body, and then somewhere in amongst all of this lot is our morph there. As you can see, set to 24. We drop it down. We can increase or decrease that like that. So we've now created a slider for that. You can now find that in our morphs like this. So what we need to do is we need to actually save this out. So we need to go to File, and we need to go to Save As, and we need to go to Support Asset, and then after that it needs to be Morph Asset. So we're going to have our asset directory, which we don't need to change right now. So we can just put our name in there, and then the product is just going to be pregnant test morph like that. Make sure we don't have any random spaces or anything like that in there. Now we need to locate our morph, so we have to come into here, actor, full body, and then preg test will be in there somewhere. Pregnant test morph, select that bad boy like that, and we just have to hit accept. So that's our morph ready to rock and roll, ready to go. So I hope you found this useful. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.